I like this map. There's something about it. I like this map, and I think it's going to be good for Magical here. I think something aggressive with this Zol play and Bonestalkers. I think Magical's taking cues from Santa here, if I'm being honest. Santa with the big macro strategy plays has come up with some goodies, and I think Magical's kind of borrowing from them.
Yeah. No, I'm hoping he can execute just that little bit better on some of these plays, because I think that Magical's probably not going to make any more Icor. I think he's learned that lesson.
Well, Icor are better on this map. I will give him that. But
true.
If he does make Icor again, he does have double leather. It might be Icor. Yeah. If he does make Icor again and loses, well,
I'm telling on him the coolathon. I'm gonna tell the Godfrey. I'm gonna be like, hey, he's making Icor again. Do something about him. Stop that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Absolutely. If you're not folding, yeah, that's right. Like the Icor, they weren't collecting trophies.
They weren't.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah, they were collecting dust, not getting much done. And yeah, I'm very curious. There's the monastery down.
What?
Like
Zephyr?
clockwork?
Who would have thought?
Zephyr? Yeah, I can't believe this. Frankly, I'm shocked. So, what is Magical doing? Because Hydra, I already know what he's doing. I've seen it.
Neurosight.
Neurosight, nice.
Does that mean straight into Zakal? If it's a Zakal rush, yes, I like this.
That's what I'm talking about.
I like this.
That's what
I mean, Hydra hasn't been changing it up. Not even slightly. No. Not even an iota. And so, what's the point in playing something that is countered by Zephyr? Absolutely right. Go straight into Zakal and bully that, man.
And Zakala great. They trend further into the game well as well. Like if you keep your Zakala alive, you're not going to be sad later on. It's like, oh no, I got a whole lot of really healthy tanky guys on the ground. You're going to be like, oh nice, I got some Zakala lying around, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not something you transition out of like immediately. They have their value.
Not good at camps on their own though. Pretty low DPS.
Pretty bad at that. Yep. Trying their best. All right.
Luckily, they have excellent overgrowth shields, and so taking these camps is pretty much negligible in terms of the.
Oh, here come some scouts coming into steal.
Oh, snake into camp. Gotta get back down there.
And he's focusing a little bit too much on the scout, I think, and a little bit too little on
the
the actual camp itself.
Oh,
goes to Ozone. Losing a couple of guys.
This is exactly the opening you don't want when you're going to Zakal. You want to be forcing these fights into the Zephyr, not kiting around the Zentari in the middle.
Yeah, the Zentari in the middle's taking. There's one guy off to the right there. He's just chilling. He's taking a little break. He's been running so hard. Yeah, so the Zentari doing so much damage there, which is so ideal. And you want to be fighting these Zephyrs as much as possible before Windstep comes out, because once it does, you lose these fights, right? Like the Zephyr's so efficient. Oh, here comes Zol. Now cleanup crew. This is great. Love to see this.
Yeah, nice focus fire to clean up some of these. Oh no, is that a glitch? Oh no, it was just a focus fire. We're good.
Oof, not quite. That's a real shame.
Yeah, not quite. Nice focus fire by Hydra to mitigate that. Actually, I really think Magical flubbed it a little bit there, not waiting for a little more critical mass, because the thing with Zakal is that when they're in a larger mass where you can really just commit all in, that's really nice. The footsie stuff doesn't work so well for them, and especially waiting for their upgrade, that's massive. Godflesh Bark is a huge damage reduction when they have their overgrowth up.
Yeah, no, it's massive. And so like being able to like tank those shots and walk in, right? This dancing is, but you know, it doesn't work in your favor, right? The Zephyr's made to kite around like this, these short little skirmishes. And now I think Windstep should be up soon. And that's going to make a massive difference, right? Magical's already dropping the ball a bit on some of these little micro engagements, right? And now Hydra's going to be able to really pop off, especially with this high ground, right? Like being able to teleport back up the hill, like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the end result is just, like, the map control is not what you'd want, you know? No, you'd ideally have all the map control and the Pyre, but that Pyre camp's untaken at the top, and it's just because of that kind of, that lack of power and mobility on the map early.
Yeah, so I'm super curious as to what the next step is, right? Because he's got enough Zakal that he's not going to lose anything like the other game where he took a bit too much for too little. And so now it's his game to transition into the next stage with, right? And so choosing what that is going to be interesting. Now, is the throne tick on the way? Not yet. 2 double upgrades going down. So I wonder if this is an adjustment, right? Maybe the throne's going to be delayed until he feels like he needs them.
I think part of this adjustment for sure is just, since this is a clearly more aggressive strategy and more aggressive use of the Immortal, I think it's kind of like a just make sure I'm safe first type thing. Get a critical mass of Zephyrs. Now these Ichor, I don't think they're going to get anything done here. That's going to get wind step gone. That's immediately the end of those.
Oh, not quite.
Oh, he's saving the wind step because he knows the units are coming and he needs it to fight. That's really wise.
Yeah, I wouldn't have done that. I would have wind stepped that immediately. Lost them all. Hell yeah. See that now, and then they get to run away for free.
Yeah, Zol ideally
one of the.
Yeah. Ideally, you use Zol after the wind step, and so then you get to chase a bunch of the low HP people. But it's just tragic because the critical mass has just never been reached. And I like this transition into the resonance. Resonance obviously are really great here, but I think as soon as we start seeing resonance come out, there's going to be there they are.
Yeah, so I was looking for them before, but I think there's a big transition all at once, huh? Like as soon as that Soul Foundry finished, it was like, let me drop 3 of these homies down immediately. And this Zephyr count is the same thing as before. The trading was so efficient that he's going to be a hit on the ground army. And so when you try desperately catch up so you don't lose the game, you're going to fall behind in the air army. And so a whole lot of thrones are going to rock up 3 at a time, and he's going to be caught with his pants down. Yeah, the Ichor getting caught, that's massive. He's so consistent on catching these things, right? Like,
well, it's just how it works. The idea is you go out, you take the camp, and you go straight back to your defensive position. These Ichor just aren't providing the value. There's nothing to shoot. There's just no Zentari here. I don't mind the Ichor going around at this point when there's a Pyre camp up and you're pretty sure he's going to be there. But yeah, so far the Ichor have just not paid off.
Yeah,
this is nice though. This is 2 camps now that got his way, which is really important because it's been a couple of fights where it really hasn't gone his way. He needs to recognize that there's no units here. Why are there no units? It's because the thrones coming. That's why.
Yeah.
Same thing.
No, I want to see if Magical is transitioning, right? Like if he's making those race bows now and other things, because this might be that same timing that I think Santa ran into, where you start building up, you're feeling pretty good, your push is looking nice,
yes,
and then
Wraith bows already.
Nice. So I think the other transition, Bone Stalkers as well. Yeah, okay. So they're well prepared for it, and now it's the question of how well can they engage these fights, because you need to engage pretty early and pretty often to make sure that throne count doesn't get up, because as soon as it does, then those spells are going to start coming down and you're not going to be able to play your game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is a really nice move right now to try and snipe this base off, because you want to keep it 4 bases to 3 bases. This move in particular, while he's getting a Pyre camp, really nice timing.
Oh, he's not in range?
That Citadel... Oh, one of them is, yeah. But this Citadel's going down. Like, the position's just too good for Zol, surely. Oh, no, wait. The wind step back, it's actually... It's maybe going to do it. But the Blood Well going down is really nice. I love this, because it's so hard to fight this position. Already taking shots from the Resident. I would guard that Blood Well. Oh, I see. Yeah, more Pyre. Hell yeah, why not? Oh,
Scout's thinking about it, man.
Yeah, it makes you never seen that.
I don't even know if you need to do this, but maybe.
He just needs
the Robo's
to
about to finish,
forward,
and then the Resident,
like...
the Resident's gonna get range, right? Or is that not happening right now? Can't remember if they've got range on Rue still.
No, there's no range. It's just a deploy. They just weren't quite in range.
Oh,
They've already got really nice
damage.
Range. But now it's chunking. That looks like a weapon upgrade. Oh boy.
And they're target firing that. So yeah, now there's probably not enough Wraith bows. But the reality is, there's enough to threaten it, right? Blades of God here will come out and shoot these Resonants to death, but the Wraith bows are at least somewhat ready. Target firing that one down, huge damage going onto it.
Nice target fire, really nice target fire.
Not quite gonna get
it without losing the army. Yeah. Shame. Now, one thing to point out is that Hydra did mess up her timing here a little bit. Our observer caught it, but the Bearer of the Crown, the necessary tech building, wasn't built, even though 3 Angelariums were ready, which meant the kind of timing on the thrones was just not quite right. Now, I don't know if that's because he built all 3 Angelariums at the same time, but the end result was, ooh, awkward. No, never mind. The end result is that the throne timing wasn't quite in time to have thwart that push, which if they had been, what, 15 seconds earlier, it might have saved it, you know?
But it was only a Citadel loss, and that's the thing, like, a Citadel, not that bad. Awesom's gonna make another one that's, you know?
I mean, that's true. He's on 6.
Quite that much damage there, yeah, and that's only gonna escalate, as we know. 6 is already past the number that I think you're fine. You know? I think 5 is a really dangerous number for Awesome.
And I think Magical's missing a beat here, in that you have to be up bases. Like, this is something we've seen with Santa as well, is like, well, Santa was really good about it. Getting lots of bases and staying up on bases. Because at the moment, Hydra's on 5, he's making a 6th. Like, you've got to keep up in bases. Now, this is a really nice move. Obviously, come back to this point that's a little bit weaker. Cancel a couple of those buildings. This is a really nice double-pronged attack. Pick him apart. Obviously, that throne count's getting pretty scary, so you got to keep an eye on that army. If it gets... Oh!
Blades the Godhead shattering a few people. One of the Red Seers goes down. Does get a throne. See if he can get more. This is the thing. It's such a hard dance to do with the Blades of the Godhead, right? Like, every time it happens, there's a huge amount of units just getting wiped out. Because you have to be so careful with your micro.
Does Magical have upgrades? Because we know Hydra had the upgrades early. We saw the double Keeper of the Hardened Flame in the base.
You're doing a lot of damage.
We need to know double Root Crate. Okay, that's important. We need to see the upgrades from Magical, otherwise these thrones will just run away with it. Nice double prong again. I don't know if he's going to get through the buildings, but there's no Empire Unbroken here, so if the Resonance gets set up, this is a fight that can be taken. Ah, that's a lot of stuff.
Gonna pull back. His attention is elsewhere. Just killing that one threat. He's gonna get away with it, the little bastard. My God. All right, now these Akali are gonna get cleaned up. Man, the ability of Hydra throughout this whole series and all the other series prior to keep units alive and preserve value has been crazy. Every single one of these games has largely come down to the ability to conserve so much of that value, right? Whether it's the Zephyrs in the early game or it's these thrones in the late game, where like, hey, yeah, maybe I will lose a throne here or there, but it's but it's an enormous cost. We've got Zol coming out here to tank some of these shots, which is kind of interesting. We're going to see if we can take them this. I don't think Empire Unbroken's up just yet, so he will be able to snipe the Citadel. Or will he? These guys are a bit aggressive. They're trying to get that Zol. He's not
focusing Zol because Zol's so low, but got a couple of shots off there. Got up to level 3, so that's at least nice. You want to be ticking that up ideally, because Great Hunt is really good if you can get there.
Ooh,
okay, not too many losses on the way back.
Yeah, but
I would love to see the upgrades for the Bone Stalkers. I don't think we've seen the full ambush yet, and that's really how you massacre buildings. When you get that ambush damage popping out from that stalk, it's crazy damage.
Yeah. Gonna push up again.
Oh, we are seeing the stalk. In the bottom left, a pack of Bone Stalkers, I believe, just took out that other base, and that's dragged all the units back down again. Nice multi-prong here. This is looking really nice for Magical. This is what I wanted to see. Like,
he's trying to
taking apart that fringe.
They get back down to that bottom fight again. Yeah, they didn't quite have enough time to go into their full stalk, so now they're gonna get shaved off with these thrones. Blades the Godhead, good positioning on that. Like, yeah, man's mastering this spell.
He's taking
Behemoth
2
out here.
camps in the meantime, but I don't think that's enough. Oh, using Zol to tank all the Fire Singer shots. Really interesting strategy there. Yeah,
Empire Unbroken. 5 things. Yeah. This is the thing, it's so hard to push Awesome on these multiple fronts, like, and it's what you want to do against this throne army, but like, Empire Unbroken every time buying him that little bit more just to get back, right? And it's a shame, because if those Bone Stalkers down south had gone into stealth, they would have been an actual threat. They could have sniped 2 thrones, really got some value for it, but instead they just missed the opportunity and got poked away. This Behemoth is about to get sniped up by the Zephyrs. Unfortunate. Blood Plague just misses.
Nice Blood Plague. Oh, thrones go through it, so the thrones are going to take a lot of damage.
Take some damage for free. Yeah, it's a lot for the Blood Plague. There goes Zol, dies instantly.
Oh, this is so good. Oh my God. The thrones insta-killed Zol.
Yikes. Yeah, and it's really expensive. It sucks when you lose Zol like that. You have to be so careful with positioning, because she costs a lot of Pyre. You know?
Yeah, Magical's done well getting Pyre on the map, but yeah, the uses
have value from it,
quite,
you know?
Yeah, not quite been like what you'd want.
Yeah, and the ability to hard that one base is just, it's proven invaluable, right? Like, the amount of Fire Singers and defenses there has made it like so impossible for Magical to get value, because the other bases are largely undefended, but it doesn't matter because you can't swing back to this one.
Yeah, but I love this. These packs of Bone Stalkers running around, this is perfect. You need to be doing this. And yeah, the Scout symbiote, harass Santa symbiote.
Hey, you can know it's probably a secret base symbiote. He's going to build a house.
Oh, actually, that's
two thrones.
Oh, nice,
really
nice. We've got the Behemoth upgrade now. That's really good. You've got to be able to bust these positions.
Yeah, big snipes.
A lot of raised bows.
Behemoth dancing forward a little bit more than they probably need to. A lot of resonance there. Two thrones going into the main of Magical at the same time. The game's about to get really messy. Oh, these guys are going to get bladed. Good reaction speed. There's a lot of fights happening in a lot of different places, but people are still mostly aware.
I think these thrones are forfeit, actually, and I think they're getting some work done, but I don't know if this is a terrible trade overall.
Two thrones is not bad. Depends if those blades hit, I think. No, they dodge quite well. These ones, it's a big choke. Oh my god, just wipes out a whole lot of stuff. All of a sudden, the value is making itself. Blades of the Godhead, you have to be in 7 places at once watching for that spell, because if you miss, you get blasted so badly. Ultra punishing move.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy, oh boy. I would love to see Magical. Oh, that is tragic. They're just sitting in the dead space now. Yeah, you do at some point probably need some A-Rocks to help deal with this sort of business. When you lose too many Wraith Bows trying to pace down thrones, it just gets too tricky, and especially if you don't have the Erebors in there. But these packs, that's what I was about to say. I would love to see these packs continuing. Because these packs, like stalking in corners and dealing really high damage to buildings and things, it does force a committed response. You can't only send a couple of thrones to deal with Bone Stalkers. Bone Stalkers are too powerful and maneuverable. See, I mean, look at that. Like, the huge volleys, it's gone. Now, obviously...
These guys need to stalk before they do that. Failure on passing is kind of crazy.
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good.
Pretty great. And then 2 more thrones, back to back. Throw some more in. These guys
are ready. Pack ready for it, though.
It's so frustrating, I can't tell when they're stealth.
Oh yeah, it's a little bit tricky to tell. So this will feel nice for Magical, at least getting a little bit of a win here.
Yeah, good catch. And then this Behemoth flood. Behemoths are a bit late, so there's a whole
the Behemoth,
line of random guys getting damaged. That said, it's almost a good trade if the all the units at the front to tackle the brunt of it. If the Behemoths could have got the Queedle out first, but just shaving away at those units. Oh, big catch here. Gonna snipe out maybe 2 thrones? The ambush is super valuable. Yeah, just
I love that play.
Triple damage out of stealth. Nice. I love it. And this is how it feels to play against someone who's doing well in Zol, right? Like, it's very difficult because you feel like the whole map is a bit darker, right? Like, you don't want to spend time.
Yeah.
Heaps of heal going down, but turning into
though, like...
AoE spells on the ground, just wiping them all. And I don't know if there's enough to deal with, or the chasing units. These Behemoth are gonna get smacked on the way back home. Army's trading out pretty well. Wraithbows sniping out these Sharu. The Behemoth were super low, but they become a bit of a bait. Oh, and these thrones out to the side. There's thrones getting picked off in way more places. The broader map of Frontiers, of Lost Province, is actually proving super valuable here, right? There's so many more angles and places for Magical to hit, instead of these like narrow chokes on Frontiers where you know, you can put a couple of citadels and cover so many routes of access.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I love that Magical is taking advantage of that. Like, and the Behemoth count is something you really love to see. Like, this change into Hallowers makes sense because, oh, nice snare, caught 3 Hallowers. The change into Hallowers makes a lot of sense just because this ground army is posing some problems. The snares into the Wraith Bows, but this Behemoth count is the part I really love. It's like, if you're gonna try and build this mass static D business, nah. I'm gonna slam that with my things over and over and over. And like, obviously we're gonna get some more castigators in here to try and prevent that, but this is turning into a way more balanced game. And whoever can control this middle and keep their Pyre up, that's gonna be huge. Obviously Hydra is on 8 citadels, that's pretty good. If you're managing to sustain 8 citadel income, you're gonna be in a good spot down the track.
It sounds kind of small, obviously, after the last game of, 40 citadel income, but the amount of Pyre that he's generating is just insane. Like, he doesn't need to contest Pyre at this point to have enough to do Empire Unbroken, to drop pillars, all this kind of key essential units. Dude, the damage on those Bone Stalkers and stuff, yeah, it's just crazy. And so the Throne army being so much weaker is massive here. You know, in this case, like in this matchup with the Bone Stalkers being able to actually threaten them with the burst
having
damage.
the room on the map to do it as well, you know.
Yeah.
Like having the room to pop out of nowhere and just be like, boom.
Oh, grabbing some of these
really
castigators. Really need to catch those, yeah, because you need to keep that number down because they're gonna just absolutely shred through all your behemoth. Now the Bone Stalker attack groups on the side, I think, need to continue because if Hydra gets his feet under him, he's gonna plant a whole lot of more turrets.
Oh, Hydra doesn't really have any more bases though. He's actually just stuck on the original 5 now, and I think that's the number where it's okay to keep him at that. Like, you can keep sieging this point with the behemoth and just kind of trading out into these static D, and I think that's good. Oh, the throne's stepping forward here, big blades of the Godhead. But like this creeping forward of Aerivores and Omnivores and stuff in the middle, I really like this by Magical. Magical's got by far most of the map. We do see something creeping around the top right, which might be a rogue throne to kill some stuff. I really like this move, of course. Force some static D, force some responses. Oh, both sides even. Oh god, the blade's right in the middle of the pack. It's disintegrating those Wraith Bows.
Yeah, that's a huge amount of damage. It goes to show like how much attention you need to pay, right? Like the thrones aren't just a threat in terms of raw damage output. It's a threat on like your attention and your ability to maneuver in multiple places, right? Because if you don't pay attention to them for like even the barest moment, they can really punish you for that, right? And so having these side attacks and spreading the game so it's a much broader front line is actually quite dangerous. And Magical, I think, needs to do it. I think he needs to be pressuring in a lot of places, right? So that he can find these windows to attack in.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Like, having a simple setup where it's like a not sitting in the middle, because this is the part that I don't like. I don't like that Magical's sitting in the middle here. I actually would rather he sat like way pronounced up to this top side and attacked kind of from the top down even would be nice, and then attacked from the bottom left as well, because you really my god, that's a lot of blades in one spot.
So much blades.
You really want to split. The Pyre can't be taken because nothing's on the ground. That's very funny. Oh, that's gonna be a nice kill for Zol. Try to get some trophies up. If we can get one more kill while Zol's out, that'll be huge for getting the level 5. Zol's just killing Teapot, unfortunately. Pushing forward with a big push here.
Let's start
right into the static defense.
Oof. Yeah. Zol's going to time out soon. And this Castigators are finally getting to work on these behemoths. You need to get the army under it, but he hasn't got quite enough to contest the throne army. So it's really hard because you want to go back and protect your behemoths, but if you're not at the critical mass, then it just feels bad. Okay, here's a huge pack of Bone Stalkers going out to menace someone on the sides.
I love this move. I love this move. You need a critical mass here, and I actually really also love...
Plagues. Look at the damage on them. So many of them were on 1 health. Sitting in a Blood Plague, just dying.
Yeah, Blood Plague's going to be big here for sure. I love the addition of the Zakal here, though. The Zakal, it's just add the extra weight to try and get through static D. Like, if you just run a couple of Zakal ahead to take the Fire Singer shots or all those seers, nice, then you can just crush. Like, oh, this is so many Bone Stalkers. That guy's going to disintegrate. Yeah. Disappears from existence. Yeah. And like,
take that neutral tower.
Continuing... Yeah, exactly. Why not, right?
Someone just right
but continuing up there, because he's expecting more of a reaction. He thought the army was going to be lower, but it hasn't moved that far. So staying posture to kill that base would be even better. That's an ambitious Grove Guardian.
That is beyond ambitious. That is greedy, in fact. Yeah, so I want to see how they
the Citadel in return.
Such a delicate balance. Yeah. Hello is chipping away is super dangerous here. Bone Stalkers on the side, just chilling for now. You have to manage this army so carefully, because if you're not super careful with it, these thrones are going to come and you have to pull back at the exact right time.
The Blood Plagues are doing so much work against these thrones, though. Like, there's nice Empire and Broken to hold that spot. I really love these moves from both players. Yeah, they're very aware. He doesn't know exactly where the Bone Stalkers are. Obviously, they're invisible most of the time for him, but is aware of where they are in the map, right? And is super. And I think he went in a bit early there. The Fire Singer AoE damage is just tearing up this army. So much supply and so much money is just going to go to waste. The Zakals have to go in first. Obviously, it takes a lot of attention to manage when you're doing this. Oh, and the Blades of the God here, because he was looking in this wrong side of the map. He lost half of his army to that spells, but he's getting a couple of thrones out for it. So many of them are super low from Blood Plague. You can see they've got 0 health whatsoever. This is a big commit, and I don't know if he's got enough to make it work. Yeah, he's going to pull back for now. He's taking some Fire Singers and some extra damage. Gonna dive under. A couple of these thrones could trade. Oof. These are perfect for Magical though. Like, these kind of trades, obviously you don't want to lose too much on the retreat. Obviously the throne outpacing the behemoth here is pretty grim. But you want to take these trades as Magical. Look at the banks, right? Like, he's definitely got the income to take it. And look at the population, 210 to 150. Like, Magical wants to make these trades. That Behemoth did, like, a few too many Behemoth died in that last trade. But overall, this is what you want to happen. And we'd love to see another pack in that bottom left. No, I take it back. I would love to see one Behemoth in the bottom left.
True. I could see, yeah, that just hanging out with that.
The moat takes it.
Hero mode. There's been some legendary workers today. Just doing work. Various gods.
Behemoths are going to pay with their lives.
Yeah, can lose a few here, and it's about how much do you lose, and how far forward do these thrones go? Because, Blade of the God, and he has moved his army, he's not paying attention, loses everything! Jeez!
Oh,
that
no,
is massive. Huge... There was all the Wraith Bows as well, and all of a sudden this fight becomes way more difficult. Paying attention to something else.
And no red
just for a moment. The red seers are coming out now, but they haven't got any mana.
Slacked on production. And so now we're in this really awkward position where we're trying to take this fight with no blood plagues, no ways to root the thrones.
Not enough Blades of the Godhead to stop this army walking forward though. He's getting a lot of these units on the ground, like getting a lot of free hits here. And I'm just not sure. This is actually, I think you want to trade out, like obviously try and dodge the blades when they come out, but a lot of them are on cooldown still. So I actually think this is quite good. Yeah, he's trading into these thrones. I think a little bit of target firing on some of these attacks is like, and yeah, these thrones are so low, just need to clean up some of these thrones on 1 health. Look at that guy. Get him.
That's such a nice fight by Magical.
Yeah.
Like, how do you tell that that's a winning fight? I couldn't tell. But he's just got so much in production.
Down, yeah, the amount of money, and he needs to make sure he stays on top, right? Because he got beat back there a little bit. And I think he needs to make sure that he can push forward and maintain that economic advantage. Because I think the only way he can stay in this game is by these slightly inefficient trades into the high value units, right? Because the thrones,
I think Magical's done it. I think he's generated enough of an edge in map control that he's done it.
Oh, ambush.
What a brilliant
amount of AoE damage. Yeah, really, really stellar performance. And I want to see if he can continue this into a different map, right? Because he hasn't won yet, for sure. But this playstyle is obviously working, right? Claiming the map, claiming this territory, and then making sure that you have the space to play around these fights, and then trade into them with the economic advantage you have.
It's inefficient trading in multiple areas that just keep your opponent behind, right? It's very Zerg, you know, from like StarCraft, where it's you're just taking a bigger econ and taking more bases and saying, well, you know, figure it out. I'm just gonna hit you hard in a lot of places, and you know, good luck.
Yeah, and then there's a more like considered playstyle, defensive place on the other end. It's a very interesting dynamic here. Yeah, so that's a huge army. And I guess the thing now is to not overextend. Like, these behemoths are a bit far forward, want to pull them back a bit. Because there is still ways you can lose so much of the army. Ooh, Great Hunt could be on the cards here then.
Yes, I would love to see a big Great Hunt into the throne.
A lot of invisible units here, so they're probably going to catch some of these Helloers when they join the fight in a second. Oh,
yes, there it is, Great Hunt.
Oh no.
Oh.
I think the game might have just crashed. Or it's lag.
No, is it just lag? It's just lag.
It's just lag. Wow. Okay, I don't know who that benefited of anyone. Great Hunt really took
I think Magical rolled through the thrones during the lag period.
I think he lost a lot during the lag period, but I think it's going to be alright. He's going to be able to take this regardless. This fighting is so strong. Yeah, I think he's going to carve away a bit more. This is pretty big. The Blades of the Godhead are hitting great shots, but there's just not enough of them, right? There's so many Bone Stalkers, right? And you have to keep seeding this ground. Magical, probably the only way he loses is if you keep pushing this recklessly. He could take this a bit slower. I think he'll still win, but it does seem like if there's a way to not take this game, it's this, right?
I agree with you. This is the only way Hydra gets back into this, but I think Magical was recognizing that, and he's just going to pull back, wait for the next round of production, and
yeah, you've got the extra money.
It'll be all over.
Yeah, get a stealth on your Bone Stalkers, right?
There
get that ambush.
Setting up for that big ambush. This is going to be a nasty fight here. It's going to come with a ramp and eat it.
Yeah.
Hydra's going to be struggling for money a little bit now. I see that third base is only a little bit left, and that means the first and second can't have a lot going on. They're probably mined out by now, which means 2 base income.
Yeah, and Magical, as soon as he's taken this side of the middle, he's like, cool, taking that base, I'm going to start mining from it, right? Like, even if I overextend and I lose everything somehow, and, you know, I lose a base, I've mined from those bases, right? Like,
yes,
choke them out, right?
You want to be taking that income from them for sure. Magical's also taking these middle bases, which are notoriously hard to hold like keep.
For sure. Yeah, so the Behemoth is hitting that critical mass as well, like that push before. Like if you can hit, 5, that's a number. That's a pack of Behemoth, right?
What's the plural for a group of Behemoth?
Yeah, true. It's a whole huge of Behemoths, you know? It's a
huge.
huge. It's a supersized me of Behemoth.
This is
look at this conclave, you know, like he's so ready for him to take that one step too far and just overextend. Snipes out one of the thrones with the Bone Stalkers there.
I think he's got to kill these tower foundations. It's actually blocking his path in for being able to get up this ramp. I really think like leaving those tower foundations there is a mistake from Magical.
This space. This man is
I
crazy.
love this though.
But
like hem him in at this point. Like absolutely
actually,
bait him over.
Yeah, baited him over for sure. It's like, oh my god, I don't want to let him take that base. I need to go and claim it. And it's like, cool, I'm gonna run in here. The Behemoth now are gonna unload so many Keedle, and there's nowhere left to run. The Thrones can get as many good strikes as they want. There's so many Keedle on the ground just throwing up damage. There's no way. Yeah, look at that huge amount of damage. And there's still so much army left, right? And then it's just going to take a minute for these Thrones to recharge these Keedle, and then they're just going to do it again. He's going to push in Magical after clawing his way through that first game, and now back into the next one. Overwhelming this time, right? He's being in more places, he's getting more economy, and he's taking more fights. And more lethal, right? More just killer instinct for so many of these moments. You have to choose the right moment to dive, and he's chosen them well. Like,
yeah, Magical chose to be the hunter in this game.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. It's great hunt again.
I'm gonna be the
yeah. Oh, hopefully this is just a bit of lag on the great hunt. We gotta optimize that, Toby. I don't know. What are you doing?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that. That's a little.
Yeah, fair enough. The lag is resolving in something to something. Yes.
Turns out there might be a little bit of lag when you cast Great Hunt. That's crazy.
And he's gonna call it there.
GG.
Well played, Magical. A stellar game.